Going on, guys? Live with a face cam. That's different. Um, camera kind of. Yeah, my camera sucks. Sorry, guys. I don't know what else to do. What's going on? What's everybody up to? Let me go ahead and invite some people to the stream. About to talk about what I started reading today. So I did start a new comic. Also picked up a couple of comics too. I got a notification. Let me see. Oh, it's worth it. Okay, let me invite people to the stream and we'll get started talking about this fictional universe that we can't seem to get over. That was a joke, by the way. What's up, Nazo? How you doing? Hello. Let me show you guys what I started. I started this comic right here. Titus is gonna get mad at me because I told him I would be reading other comics, so I finished X-Men, but that didn't work out. I started this comic, Prelude to Rebellion. Um, this is I forgot what it collects. I know it's the 1998 Star Wars run, the Dark Horse. Yeah, it's issues 1 through 6 of the Dark Horse comic series, Star Wars. So it's the Dark Horse mainline comic series. Now, this series, if you don't really know, this series eventually turned into Republic. So this is basically, the pre Clone Wars stuff was not called Republic. It wouldn't be until the Clone Wars and the John Ostrander era when this was called Republic. So, in other words, this contains issues 1 through 6 of Republic. I think they started calling it Republic in the issue 40 or something. I don't have all those trades. Let me show you all the trades I do have. Because I like showing off my books. I have quite a few. So I have Outlander. So I have that one. To make sure I don't get all these mixed up here. Ah, crap. Outlander, I think Jango Fett open. Yeah, Jango Fett open seasons. You're not in Republic. I thought I had more. So I have Outlander, the Stark Hyperspace War. I have this one as well. And Emissaries to Malastare. I think I know there's the Hunt for Aura Singh. There's a lot of others that I don't have. But yeah, these are like the who wrote this? I don't remember who wrote this. Tim Truman, okay. Anyway, so yeah, Jango Fett open seasons it. I see the Ken's here. What's up, Ken? I see the other I
Hey
see
man,
hello, what's up? How are you?
oh
Ken?
my god, I baited you.
Oh my gosh, it's not Ken, it's Titus. Alright,
Bro, actually fell for it too. Go on.
I had this during what's it called? In between the series. In between Republic. Goodness gracious. And if that's a bad placement, blame Joe Bongiorno because I'm using his timeline.
Dude, it is, dude.
Oh my gosh, it's close enough.
Dude, hold on. Let me rejoin my real account, dude. Not my beta
Oh
account.
my gosh, my beta count. Okay, I'm doing pretty good, Nazo. Yep, it's first issue. 46. All right, I knew it was one of those. What's up, Iron Inquisitor? How you doing? Well, wait for Titus to come back after baiting me, making me think he was Ken. Um, yeah, sorry, this today. It's a Ki-Adi-Mundi. Obviously, it's on the cover. It's a Ki-Adi-Mundi focused story. It's about his origins. This came out in 1998, so this is before the prequel. So this is like one of the first prequel era expanding universe stuff that was ever approved For print. Strange. It's weird. Yeah, I may I don't really know. I don't know where to I don't know why Joe because earlier I sent a picture of myself to my Discord and people were like, why do I have MedStar after the Clone Wars stuff? Like the TCW stuff?
Bro, you have MedStar after Dark Rendezvous. That in itself ain't right.
Yeah. I don't even know, dude.
Dark Rendezvous towards the end of the war, not MedStar. I don't know what Joe doing, dude.
I don't know, dude.
Bro, don't know his continuity. You don't know his Clone Wars continuity.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I do, dude.
Okay, so go ahead and make a Clone Wars chronology then. I'll wait. You have
Bet
to
you want me
include
to?
TCW.
You
You
want
have
me to
to
include
include
these? Bet
TCW.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right, then. Let's see
Free of
it.
charge, dude. I'll do it.
Let's see it, dude. Great. You have to include TCW though,
Dude, even with
because when I
TCW,
go through the Clone Wars, I'm watching TCW as well.
see, I do what Alex does. Like, I just say, well, since Anakin's a knight, dude, let's just say it happens in like the second year. Let's just say like, the whole TCW era just happens in the fucking second year, you know?
Yeah.
Because we like, cause I mean, either way, dude, something's got to push, you know, like, cause in the official timeline, the multimedia project is like squished into 4 weeks. Any other timeline, you got to squish TCW. I mean, like, one's gonna be on the chopping block, dude. One's gonna be put on the chopping block. And with enough mental gymnastics and enough pushing, dude, it can kind of work. You gotta squint your eyes a little bit, but it can kind of work.
I mean, yeah, it could work, but I'm reading the Clone Wars timeline in hard contact right now, but which of these like multimedia project timelines has everything in it? Has all like the this doesn't have comics in it. Oh, it does have comics in it.
Yeah, it's got them. I'm gonna say that word, dude. I'm gonna say his certain fiend word.
Oh my god. Wow, Ken sounds different.
Ken sounds different.
That's yeah,
Dude,
Ken
dude,
sounds different, dude.
dude, they still think it's Ken. Jeez, man.
Apparently, Marcel does.
Marcel bit the bait, dude. He bit the bait. Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, that's funny. Take it
Oh
as
no,
Comp Noir.
Comp
I don't
Nor.
even know, dude.
Nah, bro, Comp Nor. I don't like the Comp Nor thing because like it kind of like devalues TCW and like I mean yeah TCW devalues the EU dude, but like if we want to treat it as like a serious timeline, I think we should like try to at least give him about the same amount of respect. It's just like on a basic level, it's like a story, you know. I ain't a fan of that Comp Nor shit. You got to squint your eyes and say that well you know the EU version you know happened first, so that's the predominant one.
Bros, I got some Clone Wars. I got a Clone Wars adventure, dude. Volume 7, dude.
It's the best one, dude.
Yeah, Padme's in it. She's like a main character.
The Padme story is pretty bad. Ass.
Oh, these are
Ooh.
multiple stories, aren't they?
Yeah, dude. It's an anthology series, dude. A little fun 13-page tale. Whatnot.
Yeah, I found that at Half Price Books. I happened to go to the kids section just to see if I could find anything, and I found that. So, what's up, Nazo?
Yo. No, I was gonna say, yeah, the Clone Wars adventures, like those are just top tier. I love those. Those are Like I
Really
became a
good.
huge fan of Digest Comics after that. But if you want like a proper multimedia project timeline, you just go to the original timeline that's on Joe's site for the multimedia project. He has a pretty good one there. He does include Skywalkers, so you have to take some of that with a grain of salt. Uh, you know
Why?
the novel by Abel G. Pena.
Yeah, that's canon, dude.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, there's some elements in there you pretty much have to take with a grain of salt. And to honestly, what I do with a lot of my TCW stuff is like I put it between Jedi Trial and Dreadnoughts of Rendili from the Republic comic because like I just keep it all within like its own separate like Comp Nor propaganda type thing.
The reason why that can't work is because of books like this. When you have expanding universe stuff, C canon stuff, that's TCW. I mean, the Comp Nor thing just can't work, and I think I made a video about that.
I disagree purely because of the book Matt has, but
Yeah, but that book is not explicit. All it says is that there was Comp Nor propaganda. It doesn't mean that TCW is
I
Comp
know,
Nor
but it's vague enough that you can pretty much pick your version of the Clone Wars from that point and say whichever one. And again, like
Not
that's
really. Not really.
I think it does.
All the book says, I mean, I'm not trying to debate you, but
Yeah.
all the book says is that there was propaganda about the Clone Wars that was created by Comp Nor. But even then, the fact that we have books like this says you can't take that interpretation. Because if you were, then all these books have to be non-canon. Every book that mentions CCW is not canon, like Plagueis, that mentions CCW stuff.
Well, if you remember Mandalore's video on that, like if they did, that you could easily retcon a lot of that stuff, especially since most of the TCW references are incredibly vague. Because again, like they didn't know if Ahsoka was still going to be alive by the time the show's done, and even in
What about in Kenobi when it mentions Satine?
Yeah, bro.
that can easily
not-
be changed to Siritachi.
Nah, bro,
No, it
it's
can't.
not worth it, dude. Like, I know you don't like TCW, but it's like literally throwing away a whole leg, man. It's not worth it. Like, what's that comic? That's like $200 of pre-vis on the cover. It's Raiders of the
I have
Lost
that
Kingdom.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Raiders
I
of the
know.
Lost Kingdom.
There is a
if you
there is a
sacrifice that,
reference to
bro,
KOTOR in there. I know.
I mean, yeah, like that ties up the whole Lucy and Dre storyline. If you give up that, dude, like
I never
oh,
said you had to give it up, and I never said the entirety of the show had to be Comp Nor. Just a majority of it. Like the elements that still work, you can still keep those.
Yeah. And
That's the whole
Marcel,
point of the
dude,
Comp Nor propaganda,
Leia's
though.
more developed. That's my Leia's a more developed character.
It would be
Padme-
easier.
I
Padme's
still
kinda
think it's a de-evolution of Anakin's character by that, though.
Are you answering this question, Titus?
Yeah, bro. I said Leia. Leia's more developed. Padme's kind of poop. She kind of smell bad, dude.
But yeah, that's just how I solve it. I just kind of fit it into its own little corner, and I keep the elements that I know work and forget the stuff that doesn't.
Well, in my
I mean,
opinion,
fair enough, dude.
CW is canon to the EU. There's just contradictions in it. I mean,
I never said it wasn't. I'm saying a lot of it could. I'm saying a lot of it could be cleared up if a lot of it was put into Comp Nor propaganda. And again, this
it
was
would clear some stuff up, but it would cause other issues. Is what I'm trying to say. It's not a perfect solution.
Well, again, like if you're talking about the stuff involving the Mortis, that doesn't have to go anywhere. I came up with a theory, at least if anybody wants to hear it, at least.
It would have to go somewhere because Ahsoka's in it, and she's mentioned in the Fate of the Jedi books, I think.
Yeah, but again, that's
No, she is.
She is.
Again, that's it's a from what I hear, it's only a vague mention of her though. Something you can easily retcon out.
Vague or not, bro, it's acknowledged.
I'm just trying to say, even if you keep the Morta stuff, Ahsoka's still there, and you still have the Ahsoka problem. So
I know, but I
does
think of
Anakin
what
have a Padawan. You know,
I
you
think
still
of
have the
what
same problem.
I think of what Dan Wallace says in the and not him personally, but what it said, and this kind of clears it up a bit, with Luke saying the history of the Clone Wars is confusing in the Jedi Path.
I mean, that is true.
I'm just saying, like, Ahsoka could have existed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she was Anakin's Padawan. At least not 100% of the time. I think it would have been better if she was.
The Mortis trilogy. I mean, I don't remember exactly, but Anakin, I'm sure he probably says the phrase "my Padawan" or "my apprentice" or something like that. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Yeah.
Does it mention Anakin having a Padawan? Even then, I was only saying that just to add to my point. You can take that away. My point still stands.
Yeah. No, I do see what you mean. The only issue, like I said, if you are able to turn a majority into TCW into Comp Nor propaganda, not everything. And there are ways that you could actually make it work. The hope is that, like, if Lucasfilm ever decides to continue EU, that they could actually make a novel about Ahsoka in the expanded universe that explains that she was actually, like, I don't know, like Plo Koon's Padawan, and he was out of commission for a while, and so she worked with Anakin for a time.
They ain't gonna do that. That's
I know they ain't, but I'm just saying that would fix a lot of issues.
And I was gonna ask about the whole Comp Nor thing, because like this is one that I never got with the whole Comp Nor argument, is that, like, why exactly would Comp Nor make propaganda of like just like niche things and like TCW that like it just like it would make
a majority would be to defame the Jedi, because I don't know if you paid attention enough, but the Clone Wars cartoon really makes the Jedi look like idiots.
What do you mean by idiots?
Okay, so you remember the Ahsoka fugitive arc?
Vaguely.
Okay, and actually Tarkin seems like an idiot in that arc too, because like nobody's questioned that the cameras have not the cameras, but the audio in that room has mysteriously shorted out. Nobody's like, even he would be suspicious of that. It's like, yeah, it seems a little too convenient. That's the first thing. The second thing is they can't recognize Ahsoka's fearful expression. And by the way, you know what a Force grip hand gesture looks like. Does it even look like she's vaguely making that? I'm like, and the fact that the council just like ate this shit up and like expelled her with zero evidence that she was actually the culprit. I'm sorry, it makes them look like morons.
I mean,
she was set up. So
I mean, it's
the setup is so obvious, though. It's so obvious, though, that the fact that everyone fell for it is what makes it so stupid.
I mean, dude, like the Jedi have like fallen to dumber things in the EU. Like I wouldn't even really like count that as like against TCW. That's just like a writing thing. Like I don't even know.
I disagree. I feel like
it makes the Jedi dumb. I think it just shows it shows how the Jedi were so.
Let's also not mention that a little later on they found out like that the clones were actually created by the Sith, and rather than bring this to the attention of the Senate, again they let things play out. I'm like, I don't know. You think you would have been smarter about this thing? It just makes them look stupid.
If that was competent propaganda, that wouldn't make sense, because Palpatine being a Sith was a secret from the galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't even make sense.
The galaxy,
I never said that was Comp Nor propaganda. I'm just saying it feels like a very big lapse in the Jedi's judgment.
I mean,
Exactly.
the show
That's the
does like
point.
try to play on like George's whole idea, like the Jedi, the prequel have like a lot of hubris. I guess that's just their way of writing that in. It's not very intelligently written.
Well, what's funny is that again, George changes his mind at the drop of a hat. George, at the while he was writing his prequels, there's statements of him saying he's like, no, they actually didn't have a lot of hubris. They just didn't see, the Sith's return coming. They're actually, he literally says they're the good guys. They just got, upstaged by the bad guys.
I mean, at that point, I don't even know.
What my point is, the Comprador propaganda thing would not work. Now, it could work with certain contradictions. Like, I feel like the Evan Peel thing, I think that could work. But for like a lot of it, no. And to reduce most of the show to Comprador propaganda, I just don't think works. I'm not saying, I know you're not saying that now, so you're saying some things, but a lot of people are saying that. It just doesn't work because, and
I
like
would
I said
I
in my
would say the
video,
things that didn't
let me
work. I would
finish.
say
Let
the
me
things
finish,
that didn't
Nazo.
work. Yeah, sorry.
Let me finish. TCW is as contradictory to the EU as it is complementary to the EU. In the sense, complementary meaning connected. I mean, there's so much EU stuff that you know makes TCW expanding universe. It's like, but and even Leela, she even said is like they were all going to go back and fix it all with retcons, and that's the only way you could fix the problems is if you push the timeline together
Yeah.
and
No, I do
establish
agree.
retcons. That's the only way you're going to make everything work together.
I
So
do agree, actually. I think that there are elements within TCW that could work. I just don't think everything could work.
I think it could all work with enough retcons. Everything could work. Literally
Yeah.
everything. Even like, um, I think there are some things that are going to be harder to fix, like the whole, um, what's his name, Anakin having a Padawan. That'd be really difficult to fix.
Yeah.
You have to explain where she was at the whole time that she wasn't with, um, Anakin during the micro series. She was off on a mission or doing something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, or unless you say that the TCW, like the stuff where Anakin has his long hair and stuff, where he's a knight, that was after the Clone Wars. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's ways you can fix it all.
Oh, I know.
Everything can work.
And again, even I know what you're saying. Even Leland Cheese, like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait till the show's over before I try fixing anything.
Exactly.
By the way, I lost you for a bit.
So,
You had like connection issues, or maybe I did. I don't know. So I couldn't even hear where you were.
my
Some
bad.
things I don't feel like retcons can fix. Like I feel like you can retcon like a lot of things and like make it like work. But at certain points, it's like some things you kind of just have to like cut it, or just live with it. Just I don't know.
I mean, I think with like Anakin's knighting, like when was he knighted? That's something that would be really difficult to fix.
If we're
But
talking about the multimedia project, he was knighted.
Evine Peel, I don't think S Canon could work. Well, that's not necessarily how S Canon worked, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's just honestly, that's just where I put
Why
my
are
TCW
you making
stuff.
fun of the way I pronounce Evan Peel?
Evan Peel. Is it
I
Evan
thought that's
Pyle
how
or Evan Peel?
I've always heard it, Evan Peel. That's how I always heard.
Like when I was younger, I said Evan Pyle, but later on I was like Evan Peel.
I think I'm using the TCW pronunciation of it.
It's all right. Anyway, That is, yeah, the Evan Peel situation. That's another thing they'd have to clarify, because it heavily contradicts the Coruscant Night novels.
I think one of the ways I've kind of proposed. Now, I've not read those books, so this may not be the best or the best fix, but in Coruscant Nights, what was it? Jax Pavin, wasn't he the one who saw his death in that book?
Yeah,
He
He
didn't
was
like
mixing
see
it.
his death. He didn't see his death directly, but like even Peel's death is kind of like the cornerstone of the plot.
yeah. Like he's
Well,
literally
what if
gunned down by clone troopers, and then like Jax Pavan is like holding him and telling him he's like, you have to take this thing.
Yeah, I mean, like
what if he
the
was
whole
just like
initial
mixing
conflict.
up? What if he was mixing up Evan Peel with another Jedi of the same species?
That'd be
I don't
ridiculous
know.
because I mean he's a master and apprentice, Lance. I mean a master and apprentice would
Yeah,
know each other like more intimately than
Oh,
anything.
Jax Pavan was literally the apprentice of
I did
Evan
not
Peel.
know Jax Patton was apprentice. I did not know that.
Yeah, he was his
That
Padawan.
I did
Like,
not know that.
Another
that's
factor, obviously, is Barisafi. How she was somehow released from custody and then killed at Felucia.
I think that's I think you could say with that one, it's not really realistic, but um, you could say she was given another, like maybe she was remorseful. That doesn't work because of her. I don't think that would really make much sense. So never mind on that one. Um, that's another one of those things where I feel like that whole arc was just Compnor propaganda. That
Yeah,
specific arc.
that would work. Because again,
That's an
why would the
example
Jedi
where
be
it
that
could
stupid?
work.
But
Right. That's an example where I feel like that could work. Um, but back to the Evan Peel thing. I mean, you know what? If there's stuff in the new canon where Asajj Ventress is getting buried and she clearly died and there was a whole funeral for her, but then she's just back in another show, you know what? Why can't the EU have the same thing? If the new canon can do it, you know.
I mean,
So
hypothetically, the EU could. Another concept that I thought worked was what Joe introduced in SE, which was multiversal stuff. So there could
no,
hypothetically be an EU timeline where all the TCW stuff happened, as well as an EU
no,
timeline where it didn't.
no, that doesn't even work because CCW has has EU stuff in it. That doesn't even work.
That's true. That's
CW
true.
has.
And
I
honestly,
mean,
not every story TCW made is within that genre is stuff that I want to see go away. Like I don't want to see Ryder Winham's secret Clone Wars secret mission books go away, and those are heavily tied into TCW. Those are great books, by the
right?
way.
Yeah, there's just you just can't get rid of TCW. You just can't.
Yeah, well, again,
Just can't.
the whole point of using propaganda, the concept of propaganda, is so you can keep that stuff and say, "Oh no, it doesn't contradict because according to this, blah 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 blah." That again, that was the whole point of the canon tier system. You had stuff that was S tier canon, so you could list it as saying, "Oh, it still happened. It's just not exactly as it's described." Actually, you know what? If you move TCW into S tier canon, that would fix a lot of issues because you could still say it happened, just not exactly as described.
Well, if we're being technical, a lot of stuff that TCW contradicts, technically that wouldn't even be canon anymore because TCW is a tier above C canon. Being technical here.
I know.
So
I'm just trying to find ways to work because that's how they made the original Marvel run work. And the original Marvel run definitely has contradictions. Like
well,
not every element of it can work. There's actually like the have you seen the original version for Gundarks?
no.
Okay, so the original version for Gundark was like this weird long necked thing with like a tube mouth, like bunny ears and like tube like eyes. And I think they've retitled that as a long necked Gundark.
Well, let me
It
see
wasn't
here.
until the it wasn't until the what was it? The adventure journals by West End Games and whatnot, where they had the official design for a Gundark that they started implementing into everything else, including TCW, mind you.
Um, wait, are you talking about the? Are you saying that the one from CCW is different from the Western Games one?
No, I'm saying that the one in TCW is the same as the West End Games one. I'm just saying the one in the original Marvel run looks different. Look up look up the original Marvel run and then look up or maybe just try looking up Long Neck Gundark, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Don't attack me, kitty. I'm just standing here. My cat decided to plop
I
right
see it
next to
here. I
me.
can't actually make out what I'm even looking at.
Yeah, I know. Because
Like,
you typed in Long Neck Gundark, right?
yeah, let me show you.
See if you can even screen share this.
I mean, look at this. What even is
Yeah,
this? Where's the Gundark at in this picture?
that is the gun. You see that thing with the huge tongue?
Yeah.
That's the Long Neck Gundark.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what a long
Oh,
neck
I see the
Gundark.
eyes. I see the eyes. I see it.
Yeah, it's like this long tongue, these weird tube like eyes.
That's
Again, the
weird.
official Gundark design came out later with like the West End game stuff, and that's what George pointed to Dave saying, "I want that for the Gundark design." He didn't point to the original Marvel run, so they had to retitle this Long Neck Gundarks.
Yeah, they used the expanded universe version.
Yeah, but that wasn't the original design. If you use the original design was in the Marvel run. This was the later
Well, I know,
design.
I know, I know, I
Yeah,
know, I know.
I'm just especially if you find again. Let's say hypothetically that Disney decided to continue the expanded universe. Not that they will. Let's say hypothetically that did. If they got the right people involved, they could make a lot of that work. Mind you, it's all based on if. But
There's a game called Gundark Trainer.
it fell on the floor. Really? That sounds cool.
Oh, it's
Is
an
it like an old PC
in-universe
game?
game. It's an in-universe game. It's not a real game.
Oh, okay. Dang, that sucks. You know what
But
books
it
I
was
was
considered
surprised didn't have
non-canon.
Gundarks?
It was considered non-canon within the EU.
It's not even like an in-universe game.
Not canonically, no. So it's like an in-universe
Darn.
non-canon game. I don't even know.
How in the heck does that even work? But
Yeah. I was gonna say
anyway,
this. Most of the Marvel stuff is considered C canon now.
I
It
still
was all
think it's
brought into
S.
the
Otherwise,
continuity.
it just if it's in C canon, it creates a lot more contradictions.
Well, what I'm saying is there was a lot of retcons that fixed those contradictions, is what I'm saying. That brought it into
Just
continuity.
like there's probably a lot of retcons that could fix TCW.
Well, but the difference is the retcons for the Marvel comics actually came out. We don't have any official retcons for TCW. It's a difference.
I know. It's all based again. It's all based on if, but
TCW.
And again, I don't hate every element of TCW. There's a lot that I enjoy
I
there.
do.
Some of it I just think is okay. Some of it I just think is complete garbage. But that's it's take or pick. I just personally prefer the multimedia project because it was far more consistent.
Scott has a question for you, Nazo.
What's the contradictions in Marvel? Um, Example: Luke having a lightsaber immediately after Empire Strikes Back in some of the early issues, especially when he doesn't build one until Shadows of the Empire. And you could say, "Oh, that's done over a period of time," but not really. Heck, even Matt acknowledged it in his expanded universe reviews.
I
He's like,
thought
Luke. Yeah, he's
what
like,
was it
Luke has a
called?
lightsaber in these issues. Is yes, it does technically count as a contradiction.
Wasn't in the Essential Atlas they like fixed a lot of that stuff? I thought.
I don't know. I haven't read I have the Atlas. I just haven't gotten around to reading it.
From what I heard Matt say, he said that the Essential Atlas fixed a lot of those problems.
He said where the Essential Guide to Warfare, where it could integrate the original Marvel run. He says they have hypothetical places where everything could go. Though, if you want a realistic timeline, I still go to Joe's. They said it was Baron Tag's lights. Oh, well, okay then. I guess that would make sense. That's a good retcon. I like that. It's weird that he was borrowing someone else's lightsaber, but Matt just doesn't remember. Makes sense, yeah.
I don't think it's weird at all. Why would that be weird? He's training as a Jedi, and he just lost his lightsaber, so yeah, he's gonna borrow somebody else's.
And it just
That's weird.
to me, it just doesn't seem right unless he builds his own, which is what that was kind of basically the whole point, was him building his own by Return of the Jedi. His own actually was what was it in Shadows of the Empire was based on Obi-Wan's, wasn't it?
Um, wait, what's the question?
Oh no, I was just thinking about Luke's lightsaber in Return of the Jedi. The look of it is very much like Obi-Wan's.
Well, yeah, and that's because there's a real world reason, there's an in-universe reason.
The in-universe
Uh,
reason, from what I remember, someone mentioned to me was like inside Obi-Wan's hut, he found a booklet on how to construct a
right.
lightsaber based on
Sound
like Obi-Wan's.
schematics, right?
Yeah,
And the real world reason is, well, they just reused
he needs a
Alec Guinness's
lightsaber.
prop. They just reused
the,
it.
yeah, the real reason is the in-universe or the out-universe reason. Luke needs a new lightsaber. Let's just use an old prop and repaint it.
Exactly.
We'll take an old black and gray prop and paint it mostly gray with some gold design on there.
Yep.
That'll be Luke.
Hey, Scott, were you talking about Ulrich tag or there was another Baron tag? There's like two of them. It's Orman tag and then Ulrich tag. By the way, I love how most of the tag family is now considered canon.
Yeah, I feel like they did a lot more with Domina Tag in the current canon, because apparently, it's some people's favorite character there.
Oh my god, I gotta share this screen here. This is hilarious.
What is it?
It's just funny to me because so much of the Marvel stuff is canon now. Like Jackson
You
is
snuck
canon,
into sugar and then you got
Valance is
diabetes.
canon.
No, that's not how
This
it happened.
Orman
Well, Nan said that's
this
how it
Orman
happened.
tag is
It wasn't a
canon.
sneak of sugar.
Obviously this
Yeah,
guy's canon.
he's brothers with Orman Tag.
Yeah,
Nan is
obviously this guy's canon.
incorrect.
He's from the movies. Silas tag, canon. Oh, this shit's hilarious. Where's his bro? Where's Ulrich tag? I gotta find that. Give me a second, guys.
Orman tag. Oh no, that's not Orman. That's Cassio tag. Yeah, if you look at the original Marvel comic for A New Hope, of course, you know it's called Star Wars. Then, if you look at Admiral Motti, he's like fatter and older. Where's Titus in all this? He's very quiet.
I have no say. I'm eating my food, man.
All right.
Eat my dinner. Wait for Lance to return. Uh-oh.
Sorry about that, guys.
Incredible.
Okay. Where's Ulrich tag? Is he canon now? Let's see. Yep. He's canon now, too. He don't got the blue hair, though.
Ulrich was the other brother, wasn't he? I remember him from the Marvel run.
Yeah, let me show you.
He was like doing business in Tatooine, and Orman was like, hey, how's? Well, I already know Orman tag was canon because of the old web strips.
Well, I think a lot of these guys became canon due to the Dr. Aphra comics. Like, they just...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's very annoying. Anyway.
Honestly, my issue with them taking EU characters and putting them into the current canon, this is my core issue. I'm like, where's your originality? I thought you were, removing the whole thing to be original.
Fiery NJO Flower tonight. Can I only read the first 5 books? Ooh, well, I wouldn't read the first 5. I'd read the first 6 because that's the first story arc. I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what happened. I guess no. You don't have to read the other. I'd read the first 6 at the very least, but I mean, if you're having trouble finding them, I say you can keep going. You can just skip to NJO, but to be honest with you, Young Jedi Knights is fantastic. So I'd read the whole thing because I mean, something does happen in Jedi Under Siege that the other books do answer, but it's something you can kind of just infer. I don't want to spoil it, but it's something you kind of just infer anyway. So I guess I would just read the whole series, to be honest with you. 1, they're great stories anyway, and 2, it's been a while since I read them, so I don't remember exactly. I mean, you should be fine, I think, but it's the first 6 though. First 6. It's the first 6 books are the first story arc. I don't know. I'd read the whole thing if I were you. I have no idea. I've never read his stuff.
Wait, never read whose stuff?
Hand of Thrawn.
Oh, you'll get there.
Thrawn 45, the Gregorio Scott or whatever his name is. That guy. Guy wrote the fan fictions.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah, I've never read his stuff. C2 2003, so I don't know. I'd ask Matt has read some of his stuff. Well, okay, he's read his Story of the Jedi. I don't think he's read Legacy's End. Yep. It's just funny to me because the Marvel comics were some of the more obscure stuff in the expanded universe. And it's like they ripped that off more than anything else. What, like I said, Jackson, Valence, the whole Tag family. I mean, what else have they ripped off from that series? A lot, probably. Titus, what are you
No, I
doing,
mean,
man?
like even with Rebels, they were like creating semi-original characters. So like, what happened to your originality? No, we're just gonna add stuff like Thrawn.
Right.
Originally, dude is supposed to be Admiral Sloan or Captain Sloan at that point.
I
But
think what's worse is half the time they add these characters to the canon and they don't do anything with them too.
Let's get rid of Sloan. Let's have Thrawn. Just they set her up in New Dawn. They set her up in the canon comic, and then she went off a whimper. She never showed up again.
Was
So
Sloane supposed to be like? Was she supposed to be in seasons 3 and 4, but she was replaced with Thrawn?
and literally, like all the because she was a rival. Like she was Kanan's rival, and she never was brought into the show. She was set up in the tie-in media just for never to show up in the show.
They're
like,
not bold enough to use their own characters.
They're like Thrawn. Is that what Matt Wilkins said?
Well, the thing is, I think Sloane, like, if she appeared in more like visual media, I think she would have been a really popular character.
Probably, but they'd much rather
they missed a chance.
They'd much rather reuse characters that already have character. And again, like I said, this is my core issue with this thing. Isn't just that they take the characters, but they don't do anything with them. Like they added Dash Rendar to the current canon and have done absolutely jack with him. He's mentioned once in a tie-in book to Solo. Whoop-de-doo.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's like Sloane would have been perfect for seasons 3 and 4.
Probably.
But hell, I would have been more interested in that than just rehashing Thrawn.
I will say this: Thrawn in the current canon is the closest that they're going to get to the current canon or the old EU Thrawn, as far as like original characters.
Maybe in terms of the original, like the new Thrawn books, because I know Zahn, he writes those as if they were still in the expanded universe. But in terms of like Rebels Thrawn and really anything after that, no, he's nothing like the old Thrawn. I don't think.
I think as far as like not in like experiences, but like in intelligence, definitely.
Even then, I disagree with that. I mean,
Right.
because look, I'm not trying to debate you. I'm just saying, like, I would not agree with that because let me look at Thrawn and Rebels. The dude couldn't beat a Rebel cell. Compare that. So now, people used to say, well, this is before New Hope. He's not as smart yet. The dude is a Grand Admiral before New Hope already in Rebels. Yes, he should be just as smart. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't know why people say that because it's like, yeah, I get okay. What Rebels? That's what 10 years before the Thrawn books. So what? Yeah, if anything, he should be smarter in the new canon because he is a Grand Admiral already.
yeah.
Before
Well,
New Hope.
if you remember, around A New Hope, Thrawn was no more than a lieutenant or a senior captain.
Exactly. So if anything, he should be smarter at this time period.
Yeah, he really
Than what
should.
Thrawn was in
The
the EU.
The only leeway I'm willing to give Thrawn in Rebels is the way he's defeated both times. I'm like, I asked you a question. Could you see angry cloud yak or space whales coming?
I'm gonna say this about the whole Grand Hamilton thing because being a Grand Admiral is not really like a mark of intelligence or anything. Like Palpatine handed out the title Grand Admiral to a bunch of incompetent people. It is literally just a showing of status, nothing else. Like it doesn't mean you're a good strategist. It doesn't mean that you're like smart in any capacity. It's just you have a certain status in the Empire.
Well,
So like, I don't know.
the difference is when it came to the EU, Thrawn actually earned the Grand Admiral title. Everybody else was just handed it.
I mean, he earned it through like a mission of getting rid of another Grand Admiral. But like him
Well,
doing it doesn't really make him a genius.
I kind of said what I said about it. I'm using a Disney canon fan's logic because they think that since you know they I guess it really doesn't make sense, but they say, well, because I've argued with people over that before, and they said, well, this was much early in his career, so he wasn't as smart yet by the time of post Jedi. Well, even then, I don't think that's a good argument. Like, how is 10 years going to increase your intelligence?
Yeah,
Um,
it's not that good of an argument. I do agree there.
so it's like, who cares when it was? I mean, it's like he was a genius in the expanded universe, at least before he even joined the Empire, before the Empire was even formed. So, I don't know,
I
dude.
think they tried to enforce that in the again in the Zahn canon books, but like 'cause I know some
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
say that they actually, and a lot of people one person like tried to say or tried to talk about how like Zahn said he was portrayed perfectly in Rebels. I'm like, he kind of has to say that,
Yeah.
but you can see a clear division in the writing.
Yeah, and that I was gonna mention that, like, there's a kind of like a percentage of like new canon fans. They've noticed that there's a staunch difference between the Zahn Thrawn books and Rebels Thrawn in terms of his characterization. In fact, I think even Star Wars Explained did a video on that years ago. He made a video basically saying, "Why is Thrawn in the book so different than Thrawn in Rebels?" It's also because you have Zahn, the creator, but that's exactly proven my point. Because Zahn is like, when he writes his books, he's like, well, I imagine them as if they're in the EU. And of course, Dave is not writing like that when he wrote Thrawn and Rebels, so that's
Dave
exactly
has
what
actually
I've
been
been
pulling a
saying.
lot of elements from the EU because he's kind of cherry picking and hoping something sticks.
Yeah. So, but what I'm trying to say is the fact that there is such a character difference between the two, that just proves what I've been saying.
Mm.
Or between the new canon Thrawn books and Rebels Thrawn. Because the new canon Thrawn books, in Zahn's eyes, is the same as the Thrawn from the expanded universe, but so he wrote them the same way. I don't know, because people, I've when I say that I don't like Rebels Thrawn because it contradicts EU Thrawn, people are like, well, why not? It's Thrawn. Looks like Thrawn, must be Thrawn. So
Well, again, I use this old Doug Walker logic. It says just because you give them the same name doesn't automatically make them the same character. Experience does count for what a character is and what they do. Again, like they talked about how they added Corran Horn to the current canon. Mind you, he's still a kid when they talked about it, but like I'm like, okay, well, what kind of experiences did he have? There's like
that ever
nothing on that.
confirmed? Was that ever confirmed to be Corran Horn?
I think they had like either Hal or Rostek Horn mentioned in Kenobi on like one of their walls or something.
I don't know. I don't think that was confirmed to be Corran Horn. I'm talking about the Corran, the kid Corran
Mm.
from the Kenobi show. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, I think someone was trying to say that it was Corran Horn.
I I know Michael Stackpole was cool with it, but people always say, yeah, it's Corran Horn because his name is Corran. He's force sensitive and he's from Corellia. Or they're going his home world is Dayu. It's not Corran Horn. He just named Corran. But he was on his way to Corellia.
Mm.
But no, it's not Corran Horn. But Cornhorn is considered canon because he was mentioned in what is this? Star Wars X-Wing Second Edition? Oh, it's a card game. It's a Fantasy Flight card game that he was mentioned in. I guess that means he's canon now.
They also
Um,
said that Colleen Hence was canon, but I guess that doesn't matter now considering Ventress is back. So
that pissed me off, dude. Horn. One of the most badass Expanded Universe characters, dudes.
honestly, in a sense, I agree. In a sense, I don't. And again, a lot of people think that because I criticize Corrin's character, like they think I don't like him. Like, no, I do like him. But when he acts up, I'm going to call it out.
Maybe.
No, and like him and Mara having the gall to say to Luke, how could you just pardon Kip Duran like that? I'm like, he was a kid under dark side influence. You act like he's not going to be feeling this level of guilt for years to come.
Yep.
Corrin's like, I feel like he should be in a
mozzarella cheese.
Yeah, he didn't have any other cheese. Anyway, so he's like, because he's not actually going into a cell, I feel like he's getting off. I'm like, dude, there's more than one type of cell. He's gonna have to carry the guilt in his head for years.
Yep.
He wiped out an entire star system. No, actually, more than one star system. So,
Yep.
it's just the criticism just comes from people who haven't read the short story "Simple Tricks," where a woman in there literally meets Kip Duran. She finds out who he is. She aims a gun at his head, and he kind of gives her like a pleading look, like, "Please do it." Like, you have no idea what I'm carrying right now. Just. But no, because he didn't spend a day in jail, he got off scot-free. Give me a break. Oh yeah, Mara was also instrumental in, keeping, star systems, under the thumb of the Emperor. But, because she didn't touch the dark side, she's above judgment. I don't know. A lot of people. I have hot takes when it comes to Mara and Corrin, and people like it's okay if you hate the character. I'm like, I don't hate the characters. I just think what they say is bullcrap sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. It's been about an hour, so I got some stuff to do, and I gotta go eat food. So, y'all have a really great rest of y'all's day. Thank you all very much for joining.
Later, Lance.